Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another stream, our Rugged Studio Gaming Podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Hopefully, we are going to have some fun. And so let's see how it goes. Now, before we start, I do want to say a couple of things, and then we'll introduce you to our co-hosts and special guest. The first thing is, by request from last week's viewers, we are going to try and incorporate some of the comments and stuff like that people bring up during the live stream. Obviously, if you catch us on YouTube, I will obviously try and make sure that the comments that they make are said on the stream so that you know what we're on about. Obviously, if you do struggle to work out, then obviously you can check us out on Twitch, Twitch.com/The Rugged Gamer. And you can watch us live on a Sunday. If you can't catch that, you can watch it back on there as well. But thank you very much for obviously checking it out tonight and on the YouTube channel. The second thing I want to talk about is that I have a giveaway that I've been promising to do all week, and we're going to be covering that at some stage. And the last thing before we introduce our co-host is that our special guest is another YouTuber as well, and I'd like to give him the floor at some stage at the beginning of this podcast just to let you know what he's about, and we'll discuss some of the stuff that he covers and stuff like that. So hopefully it's going to have some interesting content today, and we're going to try to stick to our video stuff. Sorry, no, not our video stuff, our gaming stuff, because obviously last week we had a lot of video stuff in, so let's hope this week we won't have as much. Now, without further ado, let's get our guys involved, and it doesn't have to be me talking shit to you all night, so let's get on over here. So starting from above me, there is ProDoktorDank, as usual. How are we doing today, sir?
I'm doing fantastic.
Fabulous, amazing. Fabulous. How's Amy today?
How are you today, Amy? She's doing well.
Fantastic.
She's been fed.
Why my money? What?
By your money.
Obviously.
Live that down, are you?
Now, obviously, we've got our great co-host Hightower returning for a second week in a row. How are we doing today, Hightower?
Wonderful. Glad to be here.
Fantastic. Right. Unfortunately, I'm going to put my microphone in front of me so you guys can hear me nice and clearly. And it is with great pleasure I can introduce our special guest for this evening. As I said, I did promise some special guests throughout this, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce Red Event Games. How are we doing this evening, sir?
Not too bad, mate. Just living the dream.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for, obviously, you've had to change your stream time for me today to join us. So thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate that.
It's one way of getting you to turn up, mate.
Busy schedules.
That's it. They clash a lot, don't they?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and obviously the viewers, I'm sure, will appreciate it as well, so thank you very much for that. So, before we get started, would you like to let us know what it is you're about and what you're running and stuff like that?
So, yeah, as Mike said, I'm the man behind Red Event Games and also the Luxie indie game channel, which is only a couple of months old now, the second channel. I'm also a streamer, both on YouTube and Twitch as well. Yeah, I love simulation games, indie games, just things that take my fancy at the time, really. Mike's introduced me to a few, I've introduced Mike to a few, so
yeah, I think we keep adding to our schedules, don't we?
Yeah, I seem to remember we've had many a conversation about reducing schedules, but then
yeah, but you gotta check out this game.
Yeah, well, as I say, Dyson Sphere on my channel is now one because of you. I know you're interested in one that we've been trying to sort out as well. X4 is potentially looming as well on mine.
I've converted another to the X4 brigade.
Not fully yet, 'cause I haven't had time to probably sit down with it.
No, but hopefully you will do. So, All About Indie Games is where you first started, wasn't it?
Well, I kind of know.
I'm ignoring the Football Manager. I know where you're going with that.
Yeah. Well, when I started YouTube, I mean, listen, I started doing YouTube because at the time I suffered severe anxiety and depression. And I was told by my counsellor to find something to put my passion into. And just a focus, give me a focus. And at the time, the game I played was Football Manager. I watched a lot of Football Manager stuff. I thought, oh, let's give this a go. And yeah, it didn't really happen. They just couldn't get any traction with it. So got offered a game to try, an indie game, liked it, kept getting more, which was called the first Luke series at the time, was once every so often, and it just escalated and escalated and escalated to the point where I've had to launch a second channel this year to try and deal with the amount of games that are coming in.
It's just crazy, isn't it?
It is. I mean, last year I covered 155 indie titles in one-off indie focused videos.
Jesus.
This year I'm already on because of course split across the two channels now. It's already been 65 this year, so I'm on target for about 240 to 250 this year.
Wow,
I reckon
that's a lot of games to cover. That.
But that's why I wanted to make sure they had the channel that was dedicated to them, somewhere that people knew they could go and find. If there's a game they wanted to see, because the idea behind the Luxie is when you play a game, it's that first 15, 20 minutes of a game that will tell you whether you're going to play it again. How many games have you all got in your libraries that you played 10, 15 minutes and then never touch it again because it's awful?
I think we've all got a few of them.
Yeah. So the thing is with the Luxie is, the idea is I'll play the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes of a game so people can see what that game starts off like. Is it going to be something that you're going to be drawn into, or is it something that you're going to go, no, this is not for me? And there's a lot of games that are really good and really well worked. There's an awful lot of games that should be still on the drawing board at this stage.
I can name quite a few of them. I can name quite a few.
Yeah.
Half-baked ideas.
Yeah.
Well, it's not, but it's like there seems to be a latest craze of. If I use the phrase asset stripping, hopefully you'll know what I mean. Is there there's like all these game developers who they'll make individual little bits and pieces of a game and put it out in the asset stores, and then people are taking them and they're putting into what they think's a game, and it's not a game. It's just a bunch of bits, and there's no the scenery's not the best. The controls are not the best. There's no story to it. There's no progress, and
just lack of cohesion and planning. It's just been all jumbled in together.
It's a money grab. It's honestly a money grab. Mike uses the same site as I do to get titles, and the amount of them you go on there and you see.
Anime love stories.
That's a problem that's been around since video games have been around. It actually caused the market crash back in the 80s. In the Wii days, they called it shovelware. I mean, it's a problem on services like Steam that allow people just to release whatever.
Yeah, no background checks, no nothing. But if you try and start a business, no. We want to know what our business is doing. But build a game, have people pay money for it, and then it's a load of trash. And it's like
money.
The one thing I will say though is there is so many great game developers.
Oh yeah. Look at Egosoft.
Okay. Suspicious Ducks, who did, they've been part of the community for a long time. Such great time. There's so much time for the community and interacting it. Gaia Beyond, one of the first companies I came across, amazing. They were so much good. Tayana Studios, who I've just done work with Dark Side of the Moon. I did my first Just Talking episode back with them. Craziest bunch of people you'll ever get a chance to speak to. But the game they put out was so much fun.
Yeah, it's them little giant diamonds, isn't it? Diamonds in the rough that people really don't get to see. And that's really what your channel's about, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's giving those guys a chance to showcase for people to go and see. I will never, if a video's got a let's play, then I expect you might see an ending. If it's a Luxie episode, you will never, unless the game is really short, you will never see the end of that title, because the idea is, if you like it, you go and buy it.
Aye.
And if you've watched the end of a game and the game's only taking 20 minutes to play, why are you going to buy it?
No, you're not.
Exactly.
No, and it's as Hightower said, we've had these problems for a long time now, but there are these diamonds. But unfortunately, we've had people like yourself, and to some extent, what me and Dank do, where we're playing X4 and stuff like that. I know X4 is quite a bigger studio, but they still had the same problem. They want to do these amazing things, but it comes down to funding. They want funding, and they want to be able to build something greater, but they can't get the traction because they're just so unknown, and it's one of them.
But the thing is today, it's also the build up to a game being released. We have a great friend, Heisenblog, who's just put his game to Kickstarter, and you see the work that guy's put into that game. He deserves the support. We were talking before the stream started about the lockdown and what effect it's had on us as gamers. This is a guy who's the lockdown has made him put the time into a game, and if it keeps developing the way it is, I'm already looking forward to it. So we've shown him we've shown him a bit of love as a brand as well, because we feel exactly the same way. Somebody who's worked so passionately on something like that, we want to work passionately on helping out. And I just want to point out that Karaya actually said in the chat here that his thoughts is that basically if it takes him less than 24 hours to beat a game, it's not worth the $1. And I agree. You want. I would. Depends on the price of the game. If the game is a fairly low price game, you may only expect 6, 7, 8 hours out of it. If some games, say Dark Side of the Moon, if you play from start to finish in one sitting, it's about 2.5 hours. But
I would be disappointed in that, no matter what I paid for it.
But it's an FMV game, so it's like watching a movie. Now, if you think, how much would you spend to go to the cinema? So and the thing is with this, there's multiple endings, so you can actually go back and play more bits of it. So it's, as I said, it's getting the balance right. Yes, I think as somebody just said, if you're paying 30 plus for a game, I wouldn't want it to be finished in a day.
See, that's
I want it something that's going to keep me enthralled, captivated for months.
Yeah, for me, I think it's just down on what you value in the time and effort. So that's where the pricing of games comes into it. It's a bit difficult. You could pay $20 for a game which is absolutely amazing, then you can go all the way up to the $50 mark or £50 mark, and it's absolutely horrendous.
Yeah,
and it's just that balance, trying to find it. That's why I like X4 as well, though. It's like it's reasonably priced, but the amount of effort that goes into it from a small studio as well. And then you look at these massive titles like EA and stuff like that, and you go, why can't they do that? And then it just shows that EA and stuff like that, well, everyone knows they're just after the money, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone knows that. I mean,
but it's also the thing with big developers now is they'll release a game, and then 3 months later there'll be a DLC, and then 3 months later there's another DLC, and 3 months later another, and you get to the point you go, hang on a minute, I've just spent basically £120 on a game that I could have gone and got a similar one for about $20.
Yeah. It's just, I just don't think now these days, I think it's just, they just want to crank out games as quick as possible for a quick cash grab, and it's just not fair on the players, really, because you've got people out there who want to play the games and enjoy them, but how can you enjoy them when you're just constantly throwing out just rushed games?
Yeah. Now, sorry, Hightower,
that's what annoys me.
Go on, Hightower.
Oh no, I'm of two minds of it. One of my favorite games, I think one of the games I've got the most time into, the actual...
I do apologise about that. I apologise for whoever actually bought it. Well, I did forget to turn them off because obviously we're trying to talk! Fucking... Oh, I'm deafened.
You know what to do next is that it's just annoying. All you got to do is keep playing Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, apologies for that. Thank you very much, though, whoever did actually put it on. I'm now deaf because that was maximum volume.
Oh, did someone put... Oh,
yeah,
who did that? I can have a guess who done that.
Yes. Red's volume is slightly low. Can you turn him up? I certainly can. There we go. Boom. He is now up. Talk to us, Red.
Oh, do I have to talk to you?
Yep, there we go.
I know how long our conversations normally are.
Right, sorry. So I want to do two things here. So the one, I've had some comments already since the start of the stream about my face. It is bright red. No, it's not sunburn. And also someone said that they pay £20 for a game because you're not going to get that kind of. They pay £20 for a game because they're not going to get that in a day out, basically. Now, I actually come from LARP, as most people know. I do LARP on a Sunday, and this is the amount of effort that I put into it that it's actually just basically it's just pure heat and sweat and rubbing my face and stuff like that. I paid £5. I paid £5 for the day. It was 7 or 8 hours long, and I've had the most fun in the world. So an argument is actually you can spend as little as £5 or £3 and you can still have a good enjoyment. That's not something I'd say compare it to paying money for a game. You know, £20 is quite a bit of money.
Like, can I ask a question?
Well, yeah, true.
How can you claim to be out in the sun when all it's done is rain today in the UK?
No, that's it. I've not been out in the sun. It's not sunburn. That's none of this. I was just sweating that much. I was basically wearing full plate armor for the first time ever, and then I was running around playing capture the flag, and it crippled me. I was on my knees. So you know, it is one of them things where you can spend just £5 and have a good day. Spending £20 and not getting 24 hours worth out of your game, that I have to share that's something I'm like, yeah. You know, I don't really want to spend that kind of money and be done in a couple of hours.
Prime example though was when I spent I think it was £80 to £100 on Halo 5, and I'd done it within like 5 hours.
Oh, that's painful.
Yeah.
That's just painful.
And it was on like the second highest difficulty as well. I can't remember the difficulty levels being while I played Halo, and I don't know, like 5 hours. I think it was between 5 and 6 hours, and I was just like, "Is that it?"
Yeah.
Star Wars Squadrons, yeah. Say again.
After 5 hours, I'm ready for Chapter 2.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few games like you mentioned before about X4. You know, X4 is one of them games that I've sank. I think it's coming up to officially 1,700 hours, but unofficially it's about 2,100. You know, Skyrim, there's someone there just said Skyrim beating 10 hours. I mean, you can drag that game out for a lot longer though.
Yeah,
it's just the side quests and all that stuff, and then you be on a mission, and then you just see something in your corner of your eye and dive out off that way.
And can we also take a moment here to make a formal complaint? How the babe with the power walks past and doesn't even give us a wave. That's just rude.
Kennedy.
No answer the door. I had company decide to come.
Yeah, I still couldn't give it a wave. There you go. Hey! Talk about putting a name to a face. Babe with the power. Awesome stuff. Hey, but yeah, no, you're completely right. You know, and going back to what we were saying, having somebody like yourself, Red, actually taking the time in to cover indie games. Now I know indie games isn't the main thing that you do cover. Well, it is now, but it wasn't when we first started it out. You know, I took one path, you took another. You concentrated on the indies, I concentrated on the guides, and it's a struggle for you because obviously nobody knows the game, but it's also a labour of love. You know, and going back to what you said right at the beginning, you know, you mentioned how you had your depression and anxiety. Was it depression and anxiety?
Yeah.
You know, like we said, now Hightower and Dank will agree here the last week and the week before, we've mentioned similar things, how people have got involved in gaming through various reasons, you know. And, you know, I talked about my LARPing, and I've mentioned it today. The reason why I got into that was because I wanted something to drive my focus away from the thing that I do here. You know, I fully enjoy doing my YouTube, and certainly enjoy doing the podcast as well. It's definitely a labour of love. You know, in theory, we don't earn any money from doing this. This is just taking time out for us to enjoy it, and hopefully getting to know people as well, because obviously people see us and get to talk about some of the things. And I hope anybody who has anything they want to bring up lets us know, and we can obviously get that discussed on the podcast as well, because, you know, this gives us time, and it is that enjoyment of that. But going back to the LARPing side of things, that was my escape, my exercise, my fitness. It was also a way for me to wind down from it all, you know. But
the thing is, this is why I started doing Just Talking, because it was a chance. Just Talking is my chat show that I started doing ages ago. It's taken a break. It's now back. We will say it. We will announce it. Mike is the next guest on mine, and it's already recorded.
It's trash. Don't watch it.
The thing is,
know your place, trash.
It's the third one of them he's now done. So we've kind of covered a lot of the standard topics that we would normally talk about. So we just talk crap for an hour.
It's my third and fourth, actually.
So your third and a bit.
Third and a bit.
Christmas one doesn't do well, even though the Christmas one was one of the most fun one of them I did. And it was also the most work as well. But yeah, we brought it back. But it was also, I did it so that you could meet the people. You know, a lot of the guys who, well, me and Mike have known each other now 3 years. We've known each other since we both, not long after, started doing this. And, you know, we got talking through Helping Hands, and then through Just Talking, and then streaming and bits and pieces, and likes of, you know, all these other people have come on. And it's the amount of times and the help you get from them, because it can be sometimes those silly bits that we do that somebody from the outside can then go, why don't you try changing this? And from likes of that, Mike's been a sounding board on many occasions. And yeah, I appreciate it all.
Definitely, and you know, and we appreciate everything you do as well. And as Tenay said there, you know, Splattercat Gaming also covers indie games. That's all he does, and he's rocking it as well. You know, and I'm sure it's going to be that time where one of them games is just going to blow up, and then all of your games are going to blow up, and people are going to hopefully get the chance to see some really, really good games that you've covered.
The thing is, as I've said to you, a lot of the time, I when I put a video out, I don't necessarily expect it to be 1,000 views overnight. I don't expect that. I call my videos burners, because what you do is you watch them creep up over time.
Yeah.
And it's like, it can be, I mean, the truck simulator guide I did. The first 2 weeks of that, remember, first 2 weeks I put out for the likes of Mike and some of the others who were playing the game at the time, as myself, could see how easy it was to do your own trucks in it. And in the first week, it had 5 views. In the second week, it was on 12 views. It's now on 40,000 views.
It's just crazy.
It's just went mental. And I still get comments from people on it now. And that video is now, nearly 2 years old. So I don't expect a video to necessarily take off straight away, because, as I say, because of the type of games I feature, you know, some of them may sell 30 copies. I'm hoping maybe 10% of them might go and watch the video.
But
you know,
it's like I see a lot of, like, on Facebook, like the Twitch groups I'm joining and stuff. I mean, obviously there's Twitch, not YouTube, but you see people, like, a lot of disheartened people. They're like, oh, I've only getting 1 view on this, or 2, or 5, or how many other views, and say, you've just got to, like, give it time. It doesn't happen overnight. I mean, I've been in that situation as well. Like, after a Twitch stream, I'm like, oh, I've only got 10 views. And it's like, you know what? I'm just going to keep ploughing on through, because it just takes time enough, unless you're really lucky. One of these lucky people who just hits a niche and explodes. Fair enough, but that's not going to happen all the time.
Mike, do you remember the one I told you about? It was just before Christmas the other year, and I was sitting before I go into work. I always check social media so that I can see if there's anything I need to respond to quickly. And there was somebody who'd come on. He said, "Oh, I'm going to get 1,000 before the new year." This was about the 20th of December. I'm going to become a YouTube partner by New Year. And I thought about it. I thought, this guy must be on about 960 subs, all this sort of stuff. He was on 3. He expected in 10 days to become a YouTube partner. Ain't
Yeah.
going to happen.
That's a
It will
tall
not
order.
happen. It's an impossible order. It's a point. I think somebody said, I actually spoke to someone, and they said there's only about 0.00001% of YouTubers will do it in about a week.
And I imagine that's the ones who hit the niche.
Yeah.
Say again, Hightower.
Go and buy a lottery ticket. You've got more chance of winning.
Sorry, say again, Hightower.
I said even an impossible goal is a goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
My personal goal is world domination. Anything short of that's just never going to
That's the Marine talking again.
That's my joke.
But now, let's talk about a couple of things there. The first one you talked about is expecting the impossible out of that. The other thing that we actually did talk about and mention was about. Now, I want to share a little story here. First of all, Tane, thank you very much. Good point there, buddy. You know, he's saying that basically he didn't even know who I was. You know, and he's here now watching and finding out about me and about my personality, because when you're sat here behind the camera and you're trying to do this interaction, yeah, as a streamer you're getting some of that. But your personality is lost in the gameplay. You know, people are watching you playing the game and see how you are. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't go out on the street screaming, "Go fuck yourself!" You know what I mean? When shit like that happens, you know what I mean? So you do get a different side to a person when they're under pressure in a game like that. Now, as he said there, you know, he's now learnt about me. He wants to know more. He wants to check in, and he's been a massive, you know, talking about in the Discord since he's joined, and it's been fantastic. And you know, quite right as he says, through networking. Now, the story I want to share is how myself and Dank actually know each other. So, how we actually met.
We met.
I'll tell the story.
Go on,
but
you'd be better at it.
Thanks to Geordie, if you hadn't noticed that. For those of you who are American, basically just watch Geordie's show, and he's nothing like that.
Yeah.
But he's basically in the north of England. He's about, would you say, about 2.5 hours away from me? So like that.
I'd say 2.5. Probably, if I was to break the speed limit, probably 2 hours.
Okay,
so
in the UK, that's a long way away. We ain't visiting over there at the weekend, you know what I mean? That's quite a distance for us. In America, that's just an afternoon trip. You know what I mean? That's just going to the shopping mall. I'll see you in about 6 hours. I'm going shopping. No, that's just 6 hours to get there. You know what I mean? But we're relatively close, but not close enough to be acquaintance with. You know, I never knew Dank before I met him through anything other than gaming. Now, one of our friends was the piece that we needed. Now, I joined the army, and I wanted to go to Germany, so I went to Germany, and for just over a year and a half, I was based in Germany as a Royal Engineer. And when you're at your barracks, you do get a lot of downtime, especially in the evenings. So obviously, I spent my hard-earned cash doing nothing and spent it on an Xbox. And you got good internet, and I played games every night. You know, I was training so much during the day and everything like that. Extreme fitness, chill out on the Xbox for a while. Through one of my friends, he said, "Come join us, play some games." I met some other people through there. A couple of them I really clicked with, so I added them, and one of them was Rob himself, another member of the community. And me and Rob...
Legate Rob himself.
Legate Rob himself, yes, sorry. Legate Rob himself. But I met him, and we were talking for ages. We've been gaming for a very long time, since 2008, I think 2009, something like that. I'm not sure exactly on the dates, but basically we a while, over 10 years. And it wasn't until I'd left the army and I was at home, so probably about 2 years after I'd actually initially made contact with him, and we've been playing games a lot at this stage. You know, we were constantly playing games, and I said to him one day, I said, "Where are you from?" And he said, "I'm from Preston." I went, you shitting me? He's like, "No." I said, "I'm from Preston as well." So this guy I've been talking to for the past 2 years or whatever it was lived literally 5 minutes away from me. Not only that, but on my nights out, when I used to go out on a night out, he was friends with a friend I was on the night out with. we'd literally been in arm's reach of each other and never said a word to each other. And then obviously through him, I met Dank, and then I met another friend of mine as well.
It's almost like you live on a little tiny island.
But I
live on the tiny island.
Yeah, he's in Isle of Wight.
I live in the tiny island. I do live on the tiny island.
But you know what I mean? It's the fact that I was in Germany, thousands of miles away, and I met somebody from the same town I live in. How mental is that?
I met Rob because we were in the same regiment together.
And now look at it. Dank's now co-hosting with me on a podcast, and he's his own streamer. Yep. You know what I mean? It's just absolutely crazy. And then touching on what Dank said earlier on off camera about how the current pandemic and everything like that, I know we've mentioned it as well, how it's actually brought people closer together through things like gaming.
Yeah,
you know? I'm going to pass you over to Dank here because I know he's got a few things he wants to say over it. But it really has brought a lot of people together.
To me, it hasn't anyway. Obviously, I've managed to spend more time with obviously Mike, Rugged, Hightower. I've obviously got a chance to know them as well. I mean, even though I've still been working and stuff like that, obviously I've still had a lot more downtime than what I normally would have. And obviously I just want to get views of each and every one of you as how it's impacted the gaming industry, because when the pandemic started, obviously other industries suffered, but the gaming industry just skyrocketed. And I think it's a lot of people they're still gaming, they're oh, what have I been missing out? I've been going out, doing this, that, the other, and they've come into the game and they've realised it's not just it's not just a set of people, it's just your normal average person who you meet who's a gamer as well. And it's not just one set stereotype for gaming, it's just normal people just playing games, and I think it's broadened people's horizons on that one due to the pandemic.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Oh, Hightower's gone.
We lost Hightower.
We
lost Hightower.
Literally just about to queue in there.
Have we got you back, Hightower?
Hey,
no, I'm gone. I'm out.
What were you going to say there, buddy?
I agree. I've been a gamer since, my first video game system was a brand new in the box Atari 2600.
You're so old.
That was, retail. But even for someone like me, everything changed when we started a short quarantine here, and it completely changed the way I game. I was a solo gamer. I always played, solo games, and even when I played multiplayer games, I preferred to be that solo player. A friend of mine found me playing solo one day and was like, "Hey, you really ought to come over and play this other game." Ended up being 7 Days to Die, with the rest of these people. And 10 minutes later, I bought the game, which I'd never done before, but recommendation from a friend. And I was logged in, getting a chest full of goodies from Rugged, and I had no idea who Rugged was. I played for a couple hours, and someone mentioned, "Oh yeah, you should check out his guide if you want to know how to play this game." I'm like, "Whose guide?" And they're like, "Well, Rugged, that's what he does." And then I found myself 400 videos deep 2 days later, going, "Yeah, I can play this game. Yeah, let's do it." And now, I'm here on a podcast with them. I talk to people that I would never know any other way because of this pandemic. It changed the way I did, a lot of things in my gaming, my social life.
I remember when, sorry, Hightower. I remember when we first spoke, and you were like, "Oh, I don't do webcams." And then we finally got you on the webcam, and we were chatting, and you're like, "Yeah, this is as far as it gets. I'm a solo player. I don't get involved with stuff like this. You're on a freaking podcast now. What in the shit? What happened?"
It happens. Life happens.
Life happens, and we've even had Wendy Wave as well. Would you imagine that? Looking a few years ago, would you imagine that ever happened? You know what I mean?
She wasn't even a gamer. She didn't even play the last game she sat down and played with me, believe it or not, was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on the PS1. And then all of a sudden she's got a Steam library that's numbering almost in the triple digits at this point, and she's pounding the hours into the games and watching gaming podcasts and hanging out in this community, and it's just brought her into something else that I enjoy doing, and brought her into a friend circle with me that, you know, again, probably wouldn't have happened any other way.
It's absolutely crazy, you know. And as you say, the start of the pandemic was really the catalyst we had to get that going. And I don't look back a day now and think to myself the pandemic was a bad thing. You know, don't get me wrong, the deaths and the you know, the problems that have come with it is seriously bad.
Well, it's a silver lining.
Yeah, but the silver lining is that I have now got people who I don't think I'd have ever spawned to had that opportunity. You know, and I don't think even Dank would have got into streaming, because I wouldn't have been in the position I am now to be able to go to him, look, Dank, let's get you fucking going. You know what I mean?
I credit you on that one, like.
That's
really helped us a lot.
That's Tanae said, Wendy happened.
I mean, as I was saying, even though I didn't really start streaming until towards the back end of this pandemic. Obviously, there's other reasons which I think I explained on the last podcast, but the first podcast, as to why I didn't really stream. So I'm not really going to go into that one again. But yeah, I mean, I kind of wish I started sooner, but obviously circumstances and opportunities didn't really allow it.
No, I know. You know, it does have that impact, unfortunately. And
yeah,
I look back now and I think to myself, I'm running a gaming podcast, I'm running a gaming channel, I'm going to LARP once a week, I am doing so much, and I've got some great people showing me some great support. Hightower, you know, you've been working hard on these designs for the stuff that we do. Dank's obviously been concentrating on his streaming stuff that we've been working on, and obviously Wendy. A massive shout out to Wendy on the streaming podcast, because she has spent so much time and effort building a community away from the community, you know, showing support to people like Red Event Games, Heisenblog, and many other people through social media. So thank you very much, Wendy. We really do appreciate that. But it really does highlight the effects, not only the pandemic's had, but the effects that actually building a community like this really does make my gaming experience better. I'm sure you guys can agree as well. You know,
yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, I mean, as I said to you before we started, when I started doing the Satisfactory streams on a Saturday and Sunday night, it was originally planned it was just going to be me in the game, and then a chance conversation with WT, he joined in, Morton joined in, you've joined in, Silent Fox joined in. So as I said, we've kind of made it an open community stream that, you know, if people have got the game, they want it, even, you know, it doesn't matter how little experience, like the Rugged had, and we still haven't demolished your factory, and you know, to likes of Morton, whose silly builds he does, you know, people are getting involved, and if it wasn't for the you know, the whole thing going on, the pandemic, you know, I don't think that would have happened.
No, it's absolutely crazy the impact everything has, and I'm just so grateful to, you know, be around some amazing people. So thank you to all of you. You know, even yourself, Red. We spent many a time talking and hashing things out, and your community has shown some great support to my community as well, and we still work closely together. I know Vicky, VP, has popped in this afternoon as well, and has obviously given it a host as well. You know, it's through our interactions that we've managed to build something like this, which is amazing. And you know, if you're out there and you're struggling, you know, no matter what it is, as you've heard from Red Event Games, he's had depression and anxiety. I've had, you know, anxiety problems. I definitely comfort anybody who watches my videos from a couple of years ago noticed that I put on a bit of trouble. But you know what I mean. We
spend too much time sitting in these chairs.
We've all had things. I know myself and ProDoktorDank have had our private discussions about things that happened in his life, and I know same goes for Hightower. You know, we've had the discussions as well, and you know, Wendy's spoken to me as well. But at the end of the day, we can all come together and enjoy ourselves. So if you're in that in that situation, you're in the shoes, whatever way you want to put it, you know, reach out to people like us and come join in that and have fun, and you know, take it at your own pace. If we don't cover the game that you want to play, then just tell us and we'll get involved and we'll help you out. You know,
yeah.
Go ahead, Dank.
I mean, I'm more than willing to play Siege with my viewers and stuff like that. Obviously, because Siege is the main game of what I stream, but obviously I'll stream other games. I'm more than willing. I'll play with anyone. Me. I mean, I'm not really fussed.
What were you going to say, Hightower, as well?
I'm down to play almost anything. I've got a game collection numbering in the thousands. I got a Steam library that's the backlog's 200-300 games deep. So let's do it.
Oh yeah. But that's why, I mean, you saw it this week, right? We added the new bit at the end of my stream because I've just returned to Twitch for my midweek streams. And we've added a bit on the end of the stream to try and get the community more involved. And I was a bit amazed at the response we got this week with you, Rugged.
Yeah, that was really good.
It was amazing fun. There's a game, I don't know if any of you see it, it's called Marbles on Steam.
Marbles on Stream.
Yeah.
If you want to experience it, come past my stream on Wednesday night because we'll be playing it again. It is so much fun. It is. The thing is, all you've got to do is type one thing and you're in, and that's it. You just sit there and take part, and you actually, the way people get invested in it was just mental.
Yeah, we were typing boost when Boost did fuck all.
Which doesn't work on that race. I find out why.
Yeah, it only works on one map, but we were still like boost, come on!
But it's the fact that everyone's watching how it's going, and it's the trying to figure out how it all works and everything else. But it was like we had people come in for the first time and join in, and it was the fact that they were getting involved, and it was. I mean, I've seen a friend of mine who was like, and he's been working really hard, and he's been, building up his average view rating, and I didn't have the heart to post mine because I'd beaten his after going back on one night, and it was like, I thought I can't do that. I didn't want to demoralise him because I thought, he has worked really hard to get back to where he was because again, with everything else that's been going on, there's an awful lot of new people out there, and some of them, like yourself, really, really good. I've actually been into a couple of your streams, really enjoyed them. Yeah. Like, yourself, there's an awful lot of people who have just come on that shouldn't be on.
Thank you very much, VP. Sorry for cutting you off there, Red. Thank you very much, Vicky. Appreciate that shout there. And you are more than welcome always to contact us and get involved. I know you work a hell of a lot with Red Event Games, and we were just saying, the two communities, and obviously anybody else with communities as well, getting involved and stuff like that is just phenomenal. So thank you very much, and thank you for your kind words as well. She's just basically saying that she's jumping out to say that we deserve it. Now she does say me, but that's extended to all of you guys as well. We all work hard, and and we're happy as well as you. Obviously that we can all keep going with this. It's just amazing. And I want to also extend that to the people who gaming's not just about sitting behind a computer, And I know I've mentioned this, and I'm going to mention it again. But my LARP, it's gaming, live action role play. It's role playing, And they're an extended family to me, and they've really helped me massively. And I've absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. I've managed to build some characters out of it as well. They're all extensions through gaming. And people have these visions, we spoke about the stigma behind stuff about gaming, and the more people start to come away from that, and actually more people start to realise, actually, well, I've been sat in a fucking lockdown for 18 months or whatever it is, and I'm now playing games. And it's like, you remember when you were saying that the industry was bad for people? It causes crime, and it causes, people to shoot people, and it's like, really?
It doesn't.
No.
Really? Because I go out, I go out my front door, and I am Master Chief, and I'm going to murder everybody. You know what I mean? It's people.
You see me trying to pie a corner to see if Jaeger from Rainbow Six Siege is trying to help people.
I remember there's a video. I actually think Wendy might have posted it. I can't remember exactly who posted it.
Was it not me from? Was it Gaming Bible?
Was it you where there's a guy where it goes like shooting in real life and you're leaning in real life?
Yeah.
I think Wendy took the mick out of it. And then you had somebody doing it for Siege, and it was going you know what I mean? Shit like that doesn't happen. Take gaming for what it is. It's entertainment, and I think people are realising that now. And this is why we're getting great communities like this, and it's just it's amazing.
It's like the amount of people that say, "Oh, I'm not a gamer," and you go,
"Yes, you are."
Yeah, well, the thing is, I have one question I asked them. I said, "Do you have a game on your phone?" And they're like, "Yeah." I said, "How often do you play it?" They said, "Oh, I used to play it most days." I said, "So you're a gamer?"
Yep.
"Oh, it's not the same." "Yeah, it is. It's just a smaller screen."
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
But
Your phone probably cost more than my monitor did.
What are you going to say, Hightower?
You need a mortgage to buy phones these days.
Yeah,
and a lot of gaming has gone mobile.
Yeah.
I mean, we can poo-poo it all we want as real gamers, but a lot of people that's their outlet. That's the way they get their games, their videos. You know, they've got that mobile device with them, and it's a constant, steady thing. So, you know, most people who go, I'm not a gamer, because a gamer is someone who sits on the couch with a controller in their hand and a bag of Cheetos next to them and some Mountain Dew over there that spends their time. No, everybody in this day and age, everybody is a gamer. Whether you're outside with your LARP group, whether you're in your Facebook group playing Words with Friends, or, you know, you're sitting down at a console with your controller in hand, everybody's a gamer.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely.
And it's you know, it's just great to be able to share that with people like yourself. So that's pretty awesome. Now, look at my Mountain Dew and Cheetos next to me.
Sorry, I really am. I'll turn those cameras off. That's my bad.
I just want to take this moment though and to say my little thank you to somebody who means a lot to me. I've mentioned it in the last podcast, the author Jenny Swift, who wrote the Ark book. Now, as I said earlier on, I did promise that I was going to do a giveaway, and I'm going to do the giveaway tonight live. So we're going to take a moment here just to draw the giveaway, and it's going to be for a signed copy of the book. When I figure out where I've put it, there we go. So let's just switch on over. There we go. So you guys can still talk, but nobody can see you. So, but
I want to see who wins this giveaway.
well, you haven't entered it, so you're not going to win it. So.
Oh no, it's just like the suspense to giveaway.
Well, yeah, but you need to be entering it.
I read like the first 8 pages on Amazon, and I'm ready to keep going. So if I don't get this, I'm gonna have to order it, and it's just gonna be.
All right.
Oh, hi.
Okay, right. So let's.
In your favor.
There you go. You can have the dab. There you go. All these things need to be banned when I'm doing podcasts. All right. So, Red Event Games, you are our guest for this evening. So, would you like to let me know when to hit the button to start the spin?
Go for it, mate. Let it spin.
Here we go. Tanay has won it! Boom! There you go, Tanay. You don't need to buy it now.
No buying it now.
No buying it now. Congratulations, Tanay.
Tanay. Happy days.
You can get a good VPN while you're at it.
Hey, look, I downloaded the best VPN today.
Right. We need to contact them for our advertising money.
Yeah, that's free advertising there. So let's make sure we cash up on that. Yeah, congratulations, Tanay. Yeah, well, congratulations, Tanay. You have got yourself a signed copy of the Ark. We'll make sure that gets out to you when I get to actually get it signed by the author, because I should have done it today, but she left before I get a chance to actually get it signed. So that'll be next weekend now. No. We were by the end of it, we were all dead. I think I spent half an hour just sat in the chair asking life questions, like, why the fuck did I agree to this? Why? Like, my face is literally like
long sword.
Yeah, my face literally feels like it's the face of the sun, just from purely running around like a twat, sweating. But yeah, I'll make sure that gets signed for you next week, and then we'll get it out. Sully was the last week's winner. There'll be another one for next week, so if you are interested in grabbing yourself a free copy of the book, it's no harm. Get yourself on the Discord, throw up one of the reactions that's already out there, and you may end up with a nice free copy of it. A very good book. Even if you don't read it, you still got a nice copy for your collection, so definitely check that out on the Discord. The link has been popping around in the chat if you are live with us. If you're not, if you're on YouTube, then you can spot that link down below. So as I said, awesome book. It's a dystopian future sci-fi book. I think that's how it's put. It's definitely dystopian future, so definitely worth a read like that. And I know Hightower's been pestering me to send him a copy of it. I know, Hightower, I know.
Keep spinning that wheel.
How will I send it to India? Well, I'm gonna go like that and put a postage stamp on it. And I'm going to put your address on it, and then I'm going to put it through the post, and then let the post deal with it, because that's their problem, not mine.
Yeah. They're not good at that, are they, Mike?
No, they're not. No, I forgot about that.
No.
Yeah, I sent Mike something back in January.
Yeah, and you had to resend a new one.
And then there's a resend another one because we're still waiting for the first one to turn up.
I'm going to lick all over it.
That's bad.
So yeah, so. That's awesome. So congratulations there today. But yeah, so is there anything you guys want to bring up that we haven't already covered tonight?
I got something.
Oh,
of the four of us here, I'm the only one who is not a YouTuber, not an independent. I don't do that. So for everyone watching, while I've got you guys here, give us a recommendation, one game that everyone should go grab right now and give a look-see.
Oh, he dropped that in there. Are we talking indie games or any games?
Game. That's what we do, but that's what you guys do almost at a professional level. So I think everyone may be interested in that recommendation. Not a game you're covering, but something you enjoy playing that you think.
I enjoy playing stuff. Hang on, what's on my desktop?
All right, okay.
What do you burn time in?
Oh Christ! There's a few.
That's a bit thing is because I mean I said Mike, the game I play when I'm not doing stuff is Satisfactory.
Yeah,
I love that game because I mean I've got my own save and you kind of, even though it's a game that's been around for 2 years, it's still early access. They still haven't told us what the ending's going to be. There still technically is no story to it.
Right. Okay.
But they keep bringing out more, and it's just mental. I mean, there's a video that one of the sort of a female player, and I'm just not big saying in that derogatory way, but she has spent 4,000 hours building a factory on it, used every single resource on the planet, and just makes it look amazing. Yet you see Rugged's factory on it, and you want to cry.
We won't mention mine or the 1 hour I have in that game. So
I've not even played it. I've seen it. I've seen videos.
It's just
brilliant. It's brilliant. It's a great game, and
keeps getting bigger. Keeps getting bigger.
In that, then.
I mean, I was in when they released the last update. There was 2,000 people just in the release when it went public. Never mind the fact it had gone into experimental 4 weeks previously.
Bloody hell.
So it's got a good community. And as I said, they're still developing it. So yeah, but yeah, that's my guilty pleasure. That's the game I play when I'm off, not when I'm not doing the stuff I'm supposed to be doing.
I mean,
also the Discord thinks then I'm actually playing.
Satisfactory. Satisfactory. Red Event Games' game of choice is Satisfactory.
Yeah,
it's a hard one for me. I mean. Well, I think you all know to Hightower's disgust. You know what one's coming. He knows it begins with an R and ends with 6.
Yeah, Siege. I mean, you guys in your Siege. That's great, and that's if that's what you do.
See, I mean, it is frustrating at times, but the rewards and the payoffs when you win a game, it's just massive.
Wendy's meh.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I think it's purely because it's literally ruthless when you first play that game, and they've always mentioned they want to make it easier for newcomers, yet they still haven't done it. It's I feel sorry for any new players coming into this game now. It's been out 5 years now, for 6 years nearly now. It'll be 6 years in November or December, and it's unforgiving.
Well, I'm going to. Sorry, go on, buddy, go on.
It's one of those games, I take it, you never play the same game twice. You know, you never know how it's going to go or what's going to happen in there. So yeah, I could see that being something that you would take and you would relax at. Maybe one of these days we could get somebody, you know, maybe if we knew somebody to, you know, cover how that's done.
Oh, is that a hint? Is that a hint?
Sorry, the headset's not working. Sorry.
Oh.
Anytime I've watched Mike play it, though, he's usually one of the first ones that shows.
Oh, rude!
Absorb those bullets and be a good shield for teammates. You know, there's success in every failure. Red success in every failure.
Got ya. Right, got ya. So he's the decoy.
See, guys, we've managed almost 3 podcasts of them pretending that this doesn't happen on a regular basis, and we have now reverted to me getting my ass spanked every time. Every time.
I'm going to stick up for Mike here. He's one of the very few good Kali players. There's not many in that game at the moment.
See, and I have no idea who Kali is because none of my favorite YouTubers have explained who these operatives are and how they function.
Go fuck yourself.
Passive aggressive. Well,
I'm going to surprise you all. I'm going to surprise you all. I'm going to really surprise you all because people I've already seen have said, and most people will believe that X4 is my guilty pleasure. Anytime I'm on X4, it is building up the 2 games that I'm running at the moment, the Terran Protectorate campaign and the War campaign. So most of the time I'm playing it, it is for my YouTube. Now, Hightower asked a guilty pleasure. Now, unfortunately, I don't sit down and play that game for a guilty pleasure because I'm running one or the other. My guilty pleasure is Smite.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah. Smite is one of them games that I very rarely stream. Now, I'd say Siege is a guilty pleasure, but I stream Siege as often as I can. Yeah. Smite, I am quite happy to sit there and enjoy myself. For those of you who don't know what Smite is, it is actually a free-to-play game. Very much in the similar styles of League of Legends, Dota and all that lot. It's a third-person, arena-style or lane-style based game. I love Siege, but Smite is my guilty pleasure because basically they're very brave with what they did. They basically introduced multiple religions, and in the sense of you play as a god. You can play as Thor, Ares, and you know you've got tons and tons of gods. You know you've got Ganesh in there, Bakasura.
Did you have Death himself at one point?
Well, I play Thanatos, which is Thanatos, which is the Angel of Death, and he's an assassin. And the way they have portrayed each of the gods is brilliant. You know, as you mentioned, Thanatos, he is the Angel of Death. He will rise into the sky, and he will execute anybody who is almost dead. In one hit, boom, dead.
And as the missus so graciously points out for us, Smite is a free-to-play game available on Epic.
And on Steam.
And Steam as well.
Be your guilty pleasure.
Steam, yep.
Yeah, it's on Steam as well. That's why I play it on Steam because it's just.
I may or may not try getting into that. Actually, I need to get into that at some point.
It's one of them games where if you don't like lane games, unfortunately it is a third person game. You could never play it first person because of the spells you use. So basically all you get is four spells for each of the gods, and then you get items and stuff like that. There is a lot behind it, but as a new player you can have it as auto buy, so you can literally just get the game and play it. And the best mode to play, which is unlocked for everybody low level, is Arena. And all you do is 5 gods versus 5 gods, and then you've got minions. The minions have got to basically make it to the other end of the portal, and you get points knocked off the other team for everyone you successfully get into the portal. That's it. It's plain and simple. It gives you a chance to learn the gods. There is another game mode you can play, which is random gods, but that's probably something later down the line. But all you do is Arena style. You learn what your god does, have a read about the skills and stuff like that, have a play around, and you see how it goes, and then you can just sit there and play it, and it don't matter how good or bad you are.
So it's kind of like how For Honor did it, because they've done a similar situation to that one, didn't they?
Which one's that, sorry?
For Honor, the game. Because they have your heroes, and then they have also like your normal foot soldiers, and they do the same thing.
Yeah.
But
So
that's obviously like a AAA. That's by Ubisoft. I mean, it was a good game, but I just stopped playing it.
but
You know what it reminded me of more than anything the first time I played it, and I may get dragged for this one, but Brutal Legend. I mean, after you get through the opening parts of that, where you actually have your minions or troops with you, and you're directing them in battle in an RTS type way, it really reminded me a lot of that when I played Smite.
Yeah, and I think it's a brilliant game. That's again one of them that's not very well known. It's got a good following, but it's still not very well known in terms of AAA rating. And it's free to play. You literally do not have to pay a penny. If you want to pay a penny, you can unlock gods early, or you can buy them cosmetics and stuff like that. You can't cheat the system by buying things, which is what a lot of the AAA games fell into the trap of. If you want a god early, you can buy that god early with what you earn in game, or you can buy it without earning the credits in game with your own money. It gives you the choice.
But it's not gonna make you any better with that god than it would if you played to unlock that god. As a matter of fact, I've found people who spend that money up front to get it early end up not playing the character as well as if they have to grind it to unlock it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, no, that took me back, because before I started doing all this, I used to play World of Warcraft a hell of a lot.
I love World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I did until they dumbed it down too much. And the thing is, once they started this bit where you could, boost your character all the way up, that's when you started getting, jumping into high level dungeons and things like that. That the people playing the character just didn't know how to play them because they hadn't learnt the skills. Yeah. They hadn't learned the rotations. Yeah.
But in a game like WoW, where you have so many characters and classes and races, I've been playing WoW for a long time, and I personally appreciate the ability to not have to grind out 1 to 50 again.
That's fine. I think that's fine once you've done it. There should be, like, remember, for example, the Death Knight. You couldn't get a Death Knight until you had a 55 character. So you had to work your way through. By then, you'd kind of learned what sort of play style you wanted to be. And the thing is, but you just like all of a sudden now, jump in, this guy's level 90, and he's going, and he's like, I'm going to tank this, and you're like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I'm going to die. Or a healer who doesn't know actually how to heal. That they need to go back and learn coming through those things.
That's what I was saying. When you buy your way from your first character, from your first level to your max level, you're never gonna come to appreciate the subtlety that comes from learning your cast times or your defense protocols and things like that. But once you've done it a few dozen times, the ability to say, here you go, Blizzard, have some of my gold. Make this character max level, because I am not leveling another freaking mage just to have it in a different race.
Yeah. No. I've been there too many times.
So go on.
Too many times.
Go on then, Hightower. What is your guilty pleasure?
Ooh. It's something I don't know if I'm ready to reveal, but I play a lot of golf.
And there's the end of the stream.
And that is the climax right there.
It's one of those things that actually came from video games into my real life. I'm a big guy, so golf was never one of those things. I was a football player. I wanted to play football, and golf wasn't. Yeah, but then I started playing. Way back on Tiger Woods on the GameCube, and came to appreciate the sport way more than I ever could have watching it on TV. And I decided to pick up clubs, and they're sitting about 12 feet away from me over there, and I love golf.
I was the other way around with golf. I was the other way around with golf. I started by playing, realized how bad at it I was, and went to play it on the computer.
I'm not saying I'm in any way, shape, or form good, whether it's in the digital version or in real life. I'm absolutely terrible at both, but that's why it's a guilty pleasure. I don't care. I love it.
As you say, it's a guilty pleasure, so you're allowed to have your guilty pleasures.
It's got to be in my genes or something, that Scottish heritage coming through. I just feel I need to put the little ball in the little hole half a mile that way.
Well, we've heard Hightower's guilty. Even I didn't know his guilty pleasure. I know you like golf, but I didn't know it was your guilty. But I was expecting Star Trek. I was expecting Star Trek Online.
There's nothing wrong with Star Trek.
No, I
love Star Trek. I love Star Trek. I just expected Hightower to bring that one in because every time I look, it's like Hightower's played this game recently.
when I'm done and I don't want to shoot anybody, or I'm done hiding or hijacking cars.
I was one of the I actually had Star Trek pre-ordered.
Oh yeah.
STL.
STL. Yeah.
I used to sub to STL until it went free.
Yeah, same here.
So now I've got like a founders member or whatever it is bonus.
Whatever.
Haven't played Star Trek.
I've done most of those ones. Like Star Wars Galaxies. I've seen this, but it was Star Wars: The Old Republic was the best one.
I never played them either.
They were all so much fun.
I tell you one guilty pleasure that I'd say multiplayer wise, me and Dank have is Sins of a Solar Empire.
Yeah, Sins of a Solar Empire. I need to get back into that.
Star Wars mod Sins of a Solar Empire.
Yeah. Flying around as the Empire with Vader's Super Star Destroyer.
Or the Star Trek one.
Win-win.
The Star Trek Armada mod for Sins of the Solar Empire. Oh, I could play them games forever. Big shout out to Buzz and to Rob, Legate Rob himself.
Don't
for joining us on them games, because that does make it fun. And hopefully we'll have some of them. We're planning some for them, aren't we? A little bit of a slight announcement is that we are planning on doing a challenge series where basically myself, Dank, and two others will be challenging each other to role play our chosen factions in the Star Trek universe, where we're basically having it where everything's been reset. So like Discovery, spoiler alert, like Discovery had an issue with the dilithium explosion, which basically reset the whole galaxy. We're going to have a similar story like that to explain why we only have one planet to start off with, and we're going to try and conquer the planet where we're basically going to roleplay the characters. So, for example, if you're the Borg, you're not friendly with anybody, you try and kill everybody. If you're the Federation, you try and ally up with the non-human races. If you're the Romulans, you'll be deceitful. And obviously, if you're the Klingons, you're just going to be wanting blood and war and lots of explosions. I
have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
Why would the Borg be enemies with everyone? They're literally the ones who just want to be friends with everybody.
They just want to give people hugs and then
and make them. They want to
make everyone whole.
Right.
They want to bring everyone together. Just the means are questionable.
Well, I do know. I know that we've put it on hold for the moment because Sins of a Solar Empire, the Armada mod, the Star Trek Armada mod, is currently in a major update where they're bringing the Cardassians in, and Legate Rob himself wishes himself as a bit of a Cardassian. So,
his profile picture.
So we are unfortunately having to wait for that. So expect to see a Cardassian in there, and no doubt, I'm in two minds as to whether or not to play as the Federation or as the Borg. I quite enjoy playing as the Borg. Obviously, Dank's going Romulan.
Yeah.
And we've got a Klingon player as well. And I may try and see if I can twist Hightower's arm to join us as well. Surprise!
First I'm hearing of it.
Say again.
Like the way he does it to you publicly.
Right?
Drop the bomb on that one.
I just dropped that right on you. I don't give you I don't give you forward information. I just go, hey, by the way, you're doing this now. Well, hopefully we'll get you in. Hopefully we'll get you involved.
For me to say no about playing the game.
Well, about playing Star Trek. I'd like to see you try. Yeah, it's Star Trek. Right. It's happening. Hey, you can play as I'm not even.
If I'm playing, then I'll be the Borg, and you can take those little Federations.
No. I'm the Borg.
A second ago, you weren't sure, and now it's
definite. I wasn't very sure.
Hightower, being in the Marines, you should be used to being voluntold to do stuff.
That's how it goes.
But I'm looking forward to that. It's definitely something we're looking forward to starting. We're just obviously waiting for the expansion to be done with the mod, and then we can introduce the Kardashians, and not keeping up with the Kardashians. The Kardashians.
Call Rob Chloe from now on.
What's that?
Legate Chloe.
Legate Chloe.
Legate Chloe.
Sorry, God. Rob, I really am. Don't take it.
He's just going to be sipping his coffee going, I'm going to kill him. Another announcement.
Guess who he's coming for first in the game?
Yep, you know.
Mike.
Probably me. Every time we've played so far, he's ended up being so underhanded because he plays Romulan. He's ended up allying with other people without me knowing, and then all of a sudden I've got 3 factions attacking my borders. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here?
That's the Romulan's work.
Yeah, so yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Another thing I'm working on is to bring the live action roleplay to the YouTube channel. I've been working a hell of a lot with Hightower and on some of my private stuff to introduce more visual effects, both imagery and via video. And don't you shush me.
I'm shushing you. I'm shushing everyone else. You talk. They be quiet.
Yes, I'm sure. So we've been working really hard in the background on a lot of stuff. Visual effects that I've been working on is stuff like introducing lightning and special effects like that. It's a hard process, but it's hopefully going to be fun, and we're going to be introducing still images first, and then we're going to be working on doing some characters where they're going to be scripted to show the world of LARPing and to just basically bring some of that to the channel as well. So hopefully you'll enjoy seeing that. It's going to be pretty fun. Does anybody have anything else they would like to bring up?
I think I've run out at the moment.
I think your face is like you're looking at the planet, like the sun. Sorry,
I'm just trying to think of stuff to. Where next? Yeah, I'm going to save them for next week.
Right. So
the thing is, it'll be after this podcast finished. Like, oh damn, we could have spoke about that.
Let's talk about that.
Yes, we had that last week, and I will mention it now, but I want to cover it properly when Ducky gets back on to the podcast with us. He's actually doing a charity event. So if you actually know Duckmeister, make sure you check him out and give him your support there. But he's actually doing the 3 Peaks Challenge in the UK here. I definitely want to leave that to him to announce when he comes back onto the podcast, because we have a donation to give to him from the studio as well. So we'll lead that obviously when he comes back in. But that's it from us now. I think
can I just say one thing?
You certainly can.
I was going to say, I know that we've said it's satisfactory, and some of you guys, you said you got an hour in it. You said looking at it. If you fancy giving it a go, want to come and join in sometime, give us a shout, and you're very welcome to come and have a wander around our little empire that we've been building.
Right.
There you go.
Pay that a visit.
I have to, yeah.
So
we'll show you Mike's handiwork.
Conveyor belt that goes from point A to point B, because that's about where I'm at.
It's not much further than that, to be honest. We've left it in place.
It's gone from A to B to C to C.
We put a cannon on it.
Oh,
oh yeah, they kept trying to make the cannon. Yeah, it's the shrine of shite.
It was Mike's idea that he was going to be the community storage area.
Yeah,
and then they built one that was about 20 times bigger.
Yeah, while he was building that one.
Yeah,
in that one.
Yeah, this is really nice, but look at that one over there.
Yeah, it's escalated a bit since all then, though. No, I said if you ever fancy giving it a shot, or just want any help with it, if you do, I'll give it a look. Give us a shout. There's some great guys, and they're mental builds. Some of them do.
Mental guys as well. Just mental, just pure mental.
Wow.
The crazy Norwegian and the daft Dutchman.
Crazy. But yeah. So definitely check that out. If you want to get involved, then make sure you check his channel out, where all Red's links are in there, so you can get in touch with him and join him on his game. So thank you very much for that, Red. And also a massive thank you for joining us on this podcast, and I appreciate the time you've taken away from your own schedule to join us. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Give me an excuse to have a beer.
Red.
It's nice to actually actually speak to you guys properly. So
yeah.
You as well.
Same, yeah.
So thank you very much. But for the actual podcast itself, that's going to be us this evening. We'll say a little goodbyes in a second. But remember, if there's anything at all you would like us to bring up, then make sure you send a DM to Hightower. Hightower's going to deal with that because I'll forget. And Hightower's amazing, and he won't forget, and he'll make sure it comes up. You know you will. Yeah, you know you will. You know you can get it sorted. So, and he'll make it like fancy little things that'll pop up saying your name and what ID you had, everything. He's amazing. So, yeah, make sure you leave that with him. But yeah, so remember, make sure you don't make yourself a stranger. Come and join us for any of the games. A big shout out to my LARP industry, my LARP community, for doing the live action stuff. Massive shout out to them. Massive shout out to Jay Swift, the book that we gave away today. Today we'll obviously get that through the post at some stage when I get it signed. A massive shout out to Red Event Games and his community as well, VP, and everybody that's with Red Event. And hopefully you guys who haven't managed to catch up with us today will watch this on YouTube so that you can see what Red does. And again, a huge shout out to my co-hosts, Hightower and ProDoktorDank. I'm now going to pass you on to ProDoktorDank, who can say his goodbyes to you all and any comments that he has.
Yeah, it's nice to do another podcast again. It's been very nice to have you all here. As I say, it's very nice to put a name to the face, Red. Very nice to meet you. Hopefully we'll have some more interactions in the future. And I think that is it from me. So thanks everybody for tuning in and everyone who will be watching this podcast at all our dates.
And Hightower.
Thanks everyone for joining us again. I know we tend to go a little long with this, but that's what happens when you get Mike, Dank, and I in the same place and we give us a fresh victim. So if you're watching this at a later point in time on YouTube or something, there's a Discord link around here somewhere. Join us. It's fun like this most of the time. You know, is it down below? It's down below. Listen to him, not me. But yeah, come join us. We tend to do a lot of community stuff and games and servers and giveaways, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. And I'd like to say, thanks to Red for joining us this week. If you do get a chance to check out his channel, there is a lot of helpful stuff on there. I'm not gonna lie, I did spend a few hours crawling through his videos. And it really did pique my interest back up in Satisfactory again. So I kind of knew that's where he was going, but I wanted to see how we got there. So thanks again, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome stuff on Red Event Games.
No, thank you, guys. It's been an absolute fun evening. It's nice, as I said, to be able to speak to you. You guys are. I've watched a few bits and pieces, seen all the interactions in the Discord. Anything I can do to help you guys, just give us a shout. As Mike knows, I'm always up for a laugh. Hence why I'm a friend of his. But yeah, come by to join in the Satisfactory stuff if you want to have a look. It's just, this is what it's all about. It's community. And without this, is the message me and Kyle X started right back at the start. We grow together. And I think, if anything, through the pandemic and everything else, this is what it's all about. Is we grow together. Grow together, game together. That's right. There you go. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Thank you to everybody who has joined us for the live stream, and for those of you who do catch up on YouTube, for all your comments as well. Remember, if you are catching on YouTube and you want some ideas flowing through, then obviously if you don't want to join us on the Discord, make sure you leave me a comment so I know to bring it up, and I will forward it on to Hightower so that I don't forget. But seriously, thank you everybody for joining us. Thanks for those of you who joined us in the chat tonight as well. Really appreciate the comments and suggestions, ideas and whatnot you've had today. I hope we've been able to introduce a little bit more from you guys into this, and I hope you've all appreciated that, and that's what you kind of want. And if that's what you want moving forward, then we'll obviously continue to do that. But it has been a lot of fun. So from myself, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you to my co-hosts and special guests tonight, and I shall see you all on the next one. Bye-bye for now.